Imagine if they updated that and changed it. That'd be weird. I mean, that's not a conclusion, that's just a fact. Generic intro into that goes. We're here back with another game theory Minecraft video, and today we're doing the forgotten history of Minecraft villagers, where it says they're the same, basically saying that, like, I guess the player is related to the villagers in some way, or somehow evolved into villagers, or villagers started out, or the player started out as villagers and then turned into the player. I'm not really sure, but the villagers play a really important part in the lore of Minecraft as we've been looking into it. And, you know, the villagers in the past couple episodes, you can check my reaction to the last one, which was the Stolen Souls of Minecraft. I'll leave it right up there. Also link down below in the description. And there's no playlist for this series quite yet, but I do really enjoy them, and they seem to be really, really well. Apparently the last one didn't actually age too well, but the story, and they're not jumping to too many conclusions, and I really vibe with this, and I do love Minecraft as well. So I love Matt Pat diving into this. I actually just watched the FNAF game theory, the newest one that Matt was not the host of, which is certainly something to get used to, but the video is really good, and people seem to really be enjoying that as well. But I do read our comments, leave them down below. Also, shout out to the patrons. For $3 a month, you get all my reaction videos there, at least like 16 videos a week. I'm having to record videos ahead of time just so I don't miss any uploads. And oh wait, Dreams in the next one? That's crazy. I just did a Technoblade video on Dream SMP, but I know nothing about Dream SMP and whatnot. But let's go ahead and jumping into the forgotten history of Minecraft villagers. Alright. Oh god, is he gonna talk about the jester? Is he gonna talk about the jester is not a clown?
Oh man. Oh, that is a funny joke.
Yeah, don't. No,
man, that
Iron
was a
Golem's
good
angry. I stream Minecraft every
Oh,
Monday.
no. It was just a funny joke.
I'm restoring an ancient city in survival mode on stream.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory.
I might be done putting lights on the ceiling.
Defending a village from a hostile mob,
It looks
and
so
about
cool.
as effective as a snow golem trying to do the same thing. So last year around this time, we started to do a big series of videos on Minecraft lore.
Oh, so
and
we're
both
1 year
covered
in?
Way too much for me to summarize here. Shameless promotion to go watch all the episodes that came
I have.
before. The overall narrative that we've been constructing was that once there was an ancient civilization of builders who created many of the abandoned structures that we see sprinkled throughout the overworld.
True, and the
Everything
villagers.
from the desert temples to the forgotten mine shafts to the strongholds that house the portal rooms required to reach the end. The only
And,
other remnant
you know,
of that
woodland
ancient race
mansions,
is you, the
underwater
player, who is
temples.
somehow a descendant of the builders. Now, this isn't something that's explicitly spelled out in the games. It's something that we've had to figure out through inference. And,
Or maybe it
well,
talks
a
about
lot
the
of
credits
times
where, like, I
inference
know the
is
one
just
you
a
speak
fancy
of.
word for educated guessing. After all, this channel is game theory and not game facts. Also, doesn't have nearly as good of a ring to it. But
Nah.
thus far, the ancient builder theory has provided the most reliable and consistent explanation for many of the questions that we have about the Minecraft
Yeah, but
universe.
villagers?
And today, we get to add a bit more evidence to the pile by talking about something completely new, the Iron Golems, their history, and how it all
I was about to say,
plays into
something
the
new. The
wider
Iron Golem's been around
ancient
for a long
builder
time.
lore. Now, the Iron Golems stick out from among the many mobs in Minecraft for a good reason. First off, they're friendly, which gotta say is a good thing considering that they're among the strongest mobs in the game, beaten only by
mean,
the Wither and the Ender Dragon
really?
in terms of total hit points. Note, however, when
And
I
the
say that
Warden
they're
now,
friendly, I don't
which we're gonna be getting the
necessarily mean
Warden
that they're
stuff
friendly
soon.
to us.
Can I kill you?
Hey, look, it's me.
No!
Oh, to be sure, you'll probably get along fine with most Iron Golems if you play nice. They'll attack hostile enemy mobs like zombies and illagers and, well, pretty much anything that
and
isn't
they can be
neutral mob.
repaired.
However, their true loyalty seems to lie with the villagers first and
For
foremost.
some reason.
Which means that if you attack a villager, you're no longer a friend in the eyes of the golem.
I like how they
and you
don't
better
even,
be
like,
prepared
look at-
for
they
a
just
fight against those
start
iron
moving.
fists. However, the most
They start moving
interesting
fast.
part of the relationship between villager and golem comes down to spawn conditions. Namely, the fact that iron golems will spawn in a village once it grows large enough. Specifically, once the
there's
village
enough.
has more than 10 villagers and 20 beds. Now, let me be
Huh.
clear, it doesn't seem like this is the result of the
I have
villagers
an iron farm,
creating that
and I had to
iron
build an
golem.
entire
Besides the fact that
mountain
nothing we
to
see
cover it.
shows villagers creating golems or even suggests that they'd be able to do it, we can turn to my favorite
Yeah.
resource, the mob bestiary, to confirm that the golems
That's
just
such a
kinda
cool
show up.
cover.
Writing about the iron golems, the
They
researcher in
just
the
show
book tells
up.
us, quote, "It's not exactly understood how villagers summon their iron golems, but sooner or later, one
Hold
is
up,
sure
that's
to
actually actually.
Here, end quote. Again, the villagers aren't building these golems. They're being
So who built
summoned.
them?
Or perhaps it would be even more accurate to say that whenever enough villagers gather, iron golems just kinda show up. All of this leaves us with a lot of questions. Where
Is the
are
iron golem
golems
related
coming
to
from?
a
Why
villager?
do they seem to be drawn to the village out of pretty
They
much
have the
anywhere
unibrow
else
and the
in this
nose.
game? The answer to these questions can be found by examining the origins of the iron golems in Minecraft. And by origins, I'm not just talking about their in-game origins, but the origin story that led to the iron golems being added to the game in the first place.
I don't
You see,
actually
back
know
in
that.
2017, the development team made a post on the official Minecraft blog, which included a note from Jeb, Chief Creative Officer for Minecraft, which said
What?
the
Why-
following.
when were
"We were
iron-
thinking
iron
about how
golems
to get the
added?"
villagers to defend themselves, since they don't have arms. The design was inspired very much by the Japanese Studio Ghibli movie with the giant, the castle in the sky. It also has
I'm sure
this
it's
flower.
probably
It may
right
look
down
like
there.
the villagers because obviously the villagers would create a golem which would resemble themselves. End quote. Okay, so there's a lot to address there. First,
When
and
did they add
perhaps
iron
most
golems?
importantly, the fact that
was
villagers
not 2017.
don't have arms? Okay, so obviously that's not true. While it is true that the
They don't have
vast
working
majority of
arms.
villager types keep their arms covered from
Imagine if
view,
they
we
updated
can
that and
see
changed it.
certain
That'd be
villagers
weird.
like the mason and wandering traders either wearing gloves or with their hands fully exposed. So while their arms don't move, we know that they at least exist. Though their arms just being big meat loops in front of their bodies would be a convenient explanation for why they seem incapable of building
One
anything.
meat
No,
loop.
Matt, no, that's a bad theory.
But they have
Bad
ladders
theory.
in
All joking
their
aside, though, I
village.
think what Jeb means here is that the villagers don't have arms. He means they don't have armaments. They don't have weapons with which to defend themselves.
okay.
I hope so. Those things being just weird, meaty loops on their fronts is just a weird,
what
weird thought.
purpose
No,
would that
what I want to
serve?
start with here is the Studio Ghibli reference. Jeb specifically calls out the 1986 animated film
86?
Castle in the
Oh,
Sky as a
Lord.
key inspiration for the golems. And after watching the movie, you can immediately see how. In the movie,
Do they
there are
get flowers?
these giant robots with
How
distinctively
giant?
long arms, very similar to the robotic long arm design of the Minecraft golem.
And they're covered
But
in
the
moss
similarities
or
are more than
vines.
just visual. In the movie, the robot has an iconic moment where he offers a small, delicate flower to a little girl, which is the exact same thing that the iron golems do when they offer poppy flowers to the
Yep.
villagers. So already you can see that we have some visual similarities, some behavioral similarities.
I
and
mean,
the most interesting
that's not a conclusion, that's just a
comparisons
fact.
and the ones with implications for Minecraft's lore actually happen when you look at the story of the movie. The movie
where the
revolves
giants came
around a
from?
legendary floating castle built by a long-forgotten ancient civilization.
Sound
And
familiar?
Not just any ancient civilization, but one that had highly advanced technology.
I guess
far
I'm getting
beyond what
spoiled
the surface
for
dwellers have in
a
the
movie
movie's
from
modern
1986.
time. The robots are one such
the curse
advanced
to be on the screen.
creation, protecting the innocent creatures of the castle, now mostly deactivated and only being called to action when the civilization or innocents on board are being attacked. We join a young girl who comes to learn that she is a descendant of this long-forgotten race. As she explores the castle, we learn
How does
along
it-
with
how does
her,
it
that the
get
castle's
forgotten
power seems
if
to
you're a
stem
descendant?
from one giant magical blue crystal in the center. Though we're never told why the castle is abandoned, early drafts of the movie said that the civilization became dependent on their technology. So dependent that they became physically weak. When a disease breaks out, it kills most of the population
Oh.
and results in them having to abandon the city. Oh yeah, and there's also a lot of mining in the movie, as well as cube-shaped blocks. I mean,
Wow.
there's more to the actual plot than that, but that's the bulk
This
of
is like
what's
the
important
favorite
to
movie of
today's
all
theory.
time.
And honestly, a lot of that summary sounded pretty darn similar to what we've been seeing in Minecraft. An
The
ancient
lapis.
race with advanced
Yeah,
technologies
yeah.
is forced to abandon their creations when some mysterious tragedy hits. This
The
ancient
wither?
civilization has some connection with magical blue crystals, which in Minecraft would be lapis lazuli, which we've been seeing playing a more and more important role in these theories.
Which
both
in real life
movie
it
and
actually
in Minecraft, we would presumably be
has a
in the
purpose.
shoes of a descendant
Or
of
seem
this
like that.
ancient race of people. And lastly, we're presented with giant robots with long arms that were built as a defense mechanism but lie dormant until members of the ancient civilization
They're neutral
return
until something
or innocent
happens.
lives are put at risk. And let me just focus on that last part for a minute, because the way that the iron golems seem to spontaneously spawn doesn't make much sense if you assume that they're just being built every so often whenever enough villagers are gathered together. But it makes
Oh, but
a lot more sense
if it
you
is a
assume that
villager?
these iron golems were constructed ages ago and are somehow
That
now
also makes
being
sense.
awakened or reactivated in the presence defense of the villagers. If this were indeed
Wakey.
true, the golems would be a defensive measure built by the ancient race and waiting to be called
But they don't
to
fight
action.
creepers.
Then how do we explain this? Going back to that Jeb quote from earlier, we made the iron golems look like the villagers because obviously the villagers would create a golem which would
That's
resemble
true.
themselves. This implies, no, this outright says that the iron golems were made by the villagers and not the builders. And just to be clear, the villagers and builders aren't one and the same.
Which they were
For
able
one
to
thing, the
create
villagers aren't
life,
capable
kind of.
using
Well, maybe it's a
weapons or
robot,
defending themselves.
so-
We already went through that whole arms debacle earlier this
The
episode.
meat
But
loop.
we know from the fact that weapons are among the loot that you can obtain in containers in the overworld that some ancient race at some point built and used them. And it wasn't the villagers, so it had to be someone. So how do we reconcile this apparent difference? Do we just say that Jeb is wrong? I don't think
No.
so. You see, it starts to make sense if we assume that the villagers and the builders were once one and the same, back in ancient
And
history
maybe-
at the time that the iron golems were built. So I'd like to tell you a story that I think explains how
Maybe
the
some of
iron
them went through the
golems
portal
happened,
and turned into
how the
Endermen.
paths of the builders
Some
diverged
turned
from
into
the paths of the
illagers.
villagers. A story that explains
Some
why
turned into
one group
villagers.
continues to exist in the overworld while the other has seemingly vanished. Admittedly, this is getting into game speculation rather than just game theory, but I
Ugh.
think it offers
God,
some
so
ideas
tired.
for all
I
of
don't know
us
what
to chew
sleep is.
on as it regards to the lore. Consider the following. Long ago, there was no distinction between villagers and builders. As a civilization, they evolved and progressed as you would expect builders to, based on everything we know about Steve. They started with basic crafting, creating tools to better interact with their environments, basic weapons to deal with the mobs that they encountered, and eventually progressed to the point where
but the
they could begin
creeper-
building
I don't think
homes
the
for
creeper was around back
themselves.
then.
As we've talked about in past
think the creeper
theories,
might be
they
new.
became obsessed with progress, testing the limits of their ingenuity. They colonized
Yeah,
land,
progress is
sea,
fun.
desert, jungle. When they conquered all parts of the overworld, they needed
They got
something
bored.
more. They started to explore the nether. Obsessed with
And
progress,
the
they even
end.
experimented with giving life, eventually giving rise to automatons, the iron golems that we see today. And the iron golems were game changers. While the builders' existence had previously been nomadic by necessity, fleeing and leaving behind their houses to start new ones whenever they were pursued by a threat too powerful to take on directly, the iron golems
And the iron
were more
golems stay
powerful
outside.
than all other overworld mobs.
They were.
Not
They
only
were at
could
the time.
builders now stay in one place and build villages, it was no longer necessary for them to carry weapons everywhere
As
in
before
order
they
to defend
wither
themselves.
and
After all, why waste the
Ender
time to make a
Dragon.
weapon and learning how to
Before
use
they knew
it?
about
You
it, I
have
guess.
a super strong golem to defend you with punches that can inflict way more damage than your sword ever could. Fighting became less necessary, and so the villagers no longer taught themselves how to fight. This
Oh.
was the start of a divide within the community.
But
Certain
they
people
figured
saw
out how to make a
building
defense.
only as a means to an end. You encounter an enemy, so you build a weapon to defeat it. You need a place to live, so you build a house. As the old saying goes, necessity is the mother of invention. And once they had built up a sustainable life for themselves, complete with gold
They
protectors,
just stopped
the need to
innovating.
continue to invent was just gone. These people were content to simply live with the level of technology that they had. But
Yeah.
not everyone was content and willing to stay complacent. Others longed to continue striving further.
And
to
that's how they
continue
ended
to
up in the
build
end,
invent
and
discover new
illagers,
technologies
and-
just for the sake of discovery, or for the sake of giving them the tools to protect against threats they might not even know about yet. And
Like
it was
the Wither.
here
Yep,
the
there we
paths
go.
of the two groups diverged. One civilization suddenly became two. As some stayed behind in the villages to maintain a simple life as villagers,
And
others went
develop
out,
a language
looking
of,
to explore the limits of human potential, forever looking to build the next great thing. Over the generations, the villager community, complacent in their livelihood, would grow to forget the secrets of building.
forget
Those
they have
skills
arms.
would eventually be replaced with local trades, farming, masonry, butchery, baking. Meanwhile,
where do they get the
not
items to do
content
that, though?
with building mere simulations of life with the robotic iron golems, the builder society pressed onward, pushing their limits even further, conducting experiments
I'm not
that, as
sure-
we discussed in a previous theory, would eventually result in the creation of the Wither. And it was here that their catastrophe
My
struck.
theory
Much
is that
like
the Wither was
civilization in
created
Castle in the Sky, the builder
like a
society
war.
had created their own worst enemy, a foe even more powerful than their most powerful iron golem protectors.
I've defeated
the
it
builders were doomed
8
by
times?
their hubris, forced to flee to the end.
One time,
eventually evolving to
I spawned
become
it in the
Endermen,
end,
and the complacent
and it was a
villagers
terrible
would
time
continue to
because it was
stagnate,
matching
living on to this
with the
very day,
background. It
certainly,
was
but
a
having
terrible
long
time.
forgotten the building
So
skills
difficult.
that they once had. Though they don't possess the ability to build those iron golems themselves anymore, they nonetheless benefit from the foresight of their ancestors, who built legions of the robots back in the day as a defense system, programmed to protect them and attack any who threatened them.
I don't
Those
like the
iron
eyes being on the
robots
bottom
still
corner.
walk the earth to this day, following
I
the
guess that's where they
instructions
are,
that they were
so.
programmed with all those eons ago. Well, the people that had the drive and ingenuity to create them in the first place were eventually undone by their own pride. It can be
They had
easy
to
look
see
at
villagers
Minecraft
open a door,
villagers
shut a
and
door.
wonder why
Open a door,
it is
shut the
that they're
door.
able to survive despite the fact that they seem to be defenseless and incapable of basic building. But that is the very thing that's allowed them to live to this day. They lacked the drive and ingenuity of their
Well, they
forefathers,
weren't,
but
yeah,
that
and they
protected
also
them
weren't
from falling
forced.
victim to their own creations, allowing them to survive the more grisly fate that befell the builders who weren't content
And turned
with the
into
simple
Endermen.
life of a villager. Anyway, like I said, it is a lot
Huh.
of speculation, a fun personal headcanon to try
That
and
would be
connect
a
some
pretty
of these
cool
dots.
story,
But
especially if it was like an
regardless, it's
animated
very
story.
interesting
I
to
think
me
that'd
that
be
Jeb
kinda
would
cool.
outright say
Well,
that the
there's making a
villagers
Minecraft
built
movie,
the
right?
golems, despite us never seeing them build anything ever in the games. The only way for that to be true is for the villagers
just
to
awaken
somehow
out of the ground.
forget the skills over the generations. Anyway,
Be a
give it a think and
long
let me know
time.
your own personal theories.
Maybe
What
that's
you
why
think.
the
Seen some
golems
really
are
good
covered
stuff
in,
appearing about the
you
Nether
know,
over in the Game Theorist subreddit that I'm currently
vegetation,
researching, so more
because
on that one soon. But in the
it lay
meantime,
dormant for so
remember,
long.
it's all just a theory.
It stopped working.
Game theory.
This is a
along with
good
some
theory.
Game speculation. Thanks
Yeah,
for
he
supporting
kinda-
this channel and for supporting today's sponsor, NordVPN. Like
The
an
past
iron
couple
golem
ones
protecting villagers,
haven't had
NordVPN
copyright
protects you
issues,
every time
thankfully,
you use the internet. Why?
because
use a
sometimes
VPN, you ask?
they'll
Well, for one thing, a
use
VPN
music
encrypts
in
your
the
online
background
life to
that gets
ensure
copyright
you
claimed the
stay
moment the video
anonymous.
goes
Using
live.
Nord, you get
So if
double
it's ever
data
muted
encryption for
completely,
increased
that's why.
anonymity. So imagine if
But
this
shout out to
creeper
NordVPN
were
for
someone trying to
supporting
get
Game
at your
Theorist.
private information, represented by this house over here. Boom! Private information.
Well,
suddenly
then there's not a whole
scattered
lot
to the
left.
winds. But now we run the same test, except this time we have NordVPN.
And the house
as
is made
represented
out
by this
of-
wall of obsidian.
Oh yeah, no, that'll do it.
And look, your house
Can
private
it still
information is protected
damage
thanks to
through
that solid
obsidian?
wall
It
of
just can't
obsidian
destroy the
protection provided by
obsidian?
NordVPN. And best of all, while you're staying protected, you're
Like,
also staying fast.
pretty sure it can do that, right?
VPNs get a bad rap because they slow down your internet. But with NordVPN, you have unlimited bandwidth, which means that it's not slowing down
I've had
your upload and
VPNs
download
reach out to
speeds,
me
which, you know, is kind
to
of
do
a big
brand
deal
deals.
for us
I turned down
creatures who live
almost
online.
all
Speaking
of them.
big deals, by
99%
the
of
way,
all the
they've
brand deals I
also
turned
talked
down.
a lot in the past about how using Nord unlocks websites not available in your part of the world. Like, say you want to watch what's on Netflix Japan, because let me tell you, it is very different. Shazam,
Really?
The Dark Knight Rises,
I haven't seen
both
any of 'em.
available in Netflix Japan.
I've seen,
and
like,
not in the
4
US.
DC
But
movies
would be
ever.
impossible for you to access outside of
Really
Japan.
don't know why
with
that is, though.
literally only 2 clicks away if you're using Nord. And all of that is just scratching the surface. If you like NordVPN, you can also easily integrate NordPass, their password management system, which is quick to set up and gives you the final finishing
I
touch
don't
of
know how
security online.
necessarily
I know,
secure that
you can
is.
be honest with me, you've all been using the same 3 passwords for pretty much every site you
No.
go on, because let's face it, that's all you can bother
No,
to remember.
I have
but now you can
several
make secure
different passwords. I have a
that
lot
are
of
really
passwords.
complicated and
A
stop
lot.
having to worry
Like, a
about
lot.
remembering them, because NordPass
Thankfully, my
remembers them
memory
for
is
you and then
ridiculous, so I can
protects them.
remember
They
things
take
like
those
that.
really complicated passwords, throw them in the vault, and then they're just there for you to roll out when you feel like it. It's actually an incredibly great additional service. In short, Nord is awesome. They've been an amazing partner to us over the years. They've been an amazing partner.
I don't
to
think
their
Nord's
clients over
reach
the
out
years,
to me.
And right now, you can get Nord for 68% off a 2-year
Why couldn't they
plan
bump
at
it up 1 more percent?
nordvpn.com/MatPat.
Seriously, 1 more percent.
M-A-T-P-A-T. If you use the code
I literally
MatPat
just
at
got
the
gas a
checkout,
couple
you'll also
hours
get
ago,
1
and I
extra month of
literally
NordVPN absolutely free.
stopped
That is
once it
less
got
than
to
$4
69
a month
cents.
for a global unlocked
Come on now.
internet and peace of
Like-
mind protection, which I gotta say, in 2020, both of those things
Oh,
are
this is
pretty darn
2020?
important. It's
Oh, yikes.
nordvpn.com/MatPat.
Yikes, 2020. So this was the forgotten history of the Minecraft villagers. It doesn't have as many views as many of the other ones, so I'm not sure if people agree, disagree. The story is quite interesting, and I have a feeling once the Minecraft movie comes out, which I still think that's like, what, a couple years away. Like, I think they just started doing casting or announcing the casting for that. But the next one's going to be about the Warden. I still have yet to fight the Warden. I do, like I said, I have an Ancient City. I did keep 1 Shrieker. I keep finding Shriekers as I am installing ceiling lights with sea lanterns with chains, and it looks so cool. You definitely should come by and check it out on a Monday. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays as well. Right now, I should be playing through Deltarune, but this video, wait. So this video is going live. This video is going live next Wednesday. I'm recording this past Wednesday, so I won't be streaming this coming up Saturday. But the Saturday after that, I should be starting Deltarune Chapter 2 for the very first time. So I really look forward to watching the next one and learning about the Warden, because apparently the Ancient City stuff gets really interesting. I look forward to seeing that. I hope to see you there. But until then, take care and kitty music.